Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today to address a matter that has puzzled minds for generations. Why is it that only 2% of people achieve the heights of success, while 98% seem to struggle in mediocrity? It's not for lack of talent, ambition, or even opportunity. No, the answer lies in something much deeper: principles that govern success. Principles that anyone can follow but few ever truly understand. 1. Vision gives birth to destiny. The first and most crucial key is vision. What you see is what you will ultimately become. The 2% succeed because they live by a vision that is bigger than their present circumstances. They are guided by a clear image of their future, and that image fuels their decisions. Where there is no vision, there is no direction. The 98% lack a compelling vision, and so they drift through life, allowing circumstances to define them. But those in the 2% are defined by their vision. 2. Discipline, the bridge between goals and accomplishment. If there is one word that separates success from failure, it's discipline. The 2% understand that dreams are nothing without discipline. They wake up early, stay late, and consistently take action toward their goals. It's not glamorous. It's not easy. But it's essential. The 98% want success but lack the discipline to pursue it relentlessly. They wait for motivation, but the 2% know that discipline will carry you through even when motivation is nowhere to be found. 3. Courage to face fear. Everyone experiences fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. But the 2% face their fears head on. They understand that fear is not the enemy, it is the catalyst for growth. The 98%, however, let fear paralyze them. They spend their lives avoiding risk, and in doing so, they avoid the very opportunities that could lead to their success. 4. Purpose the anchor in the storm. Passion may excite you, but purpose sustains you. The 2% succeed because they are driven by a deeper purpose. Purpose is stronger than passion because it's not fleeting, it doesn't burn out. It is the reason you wake up in the morning and keep going when things get tough. The 98% often chase after what excites them but lose momentum when challenges arise. But those in the 2% are anchored in purpose, and that anchor keeps them steady even in the storm. 5. Learning from others, the power of mentorship. No one succeeds alone. The 2% understand the value of mentorship and surround themselves with those who have already walked the path they seek. They are teachable and humble, eager to learn from others' experiences. The 98%, however, believe they can figure it out on their own, missing out on the wisdom and guidance that could save them years of struggle. Success is a team sport, and the 2% are never afraid to ask for help. 6. Resilience, turning failure into fuel. The 2% are not immune to failure, they just respond to it differently. Failure is not the end for them, it's a lesson, a stepping stone towards success. They understand that every setback carries within it the seed of a comeback. The 98% view failure as a reason to stop, but the 2% see it as a reason to keep going. Resilience is the heartbeat of success, and the 2% have mastered it. 7. Mastery of time. Time is the currency of life. The 2% know this and treat every moment with intentionality. They understand that time once spent cannot be recovered. The 98% waste time distracted by trivial things, while the 2% focus on what truly matters. They invest their time, not just spend it, and that investment yields extraordinary results. In conclusion, the 2% are not extraordinary people. They simply live by extraordinary principles. These principles are available to each of us, but they require a decision. Will you continue to follow the habits of the 98%, or will you make the choice to rise above, to live with vision, discipline, courage, and purpose? The choice is yours. Your success is not determined by your circumstances. It is determined by the principles you choose to live by. Vision is the foundation upon which all success is built. It is more than just the ability to dream. It is the ability to see beyond the present moment, to envision a future that is greater than your current reality. Vision gives birth to purpose, and purpose fuels action. Without vision, you are like a ship adrift in the ocean, tossed and turned by the waves of life, with no destination in sight. But with vision, you have a clear direction, a target that pulls you forward even when the winds of adversity blow against you. Vision is not just about having goals or aspirations. It is about seeing a reality that does not yet exist, but believing in it so strongly that it shapes your every move. The 2% who succeed are those who have allowed their vision to consume them. They are driven by what they see in their minds, not by what they experience in the present. This is why they can endure hardships, face opposition, and overcome obstacles, because their vision is stronger than their current challenges. When you have vision, you don't wait for opportunities to come to you, you create them. The 2% understand that their vision is a map, showing them the path they need to take. While the 98% are content with living day to day, reacting to whatever life throws at them, the 2% are proactive, constantly moving toward their vision. They are not satisfied with the status quo, because their vision compels them to aim higher, think bigger, and work harder. A powerful vision also brings clarity. It helps you filter out distractions and focus on what truly matters. The 98% often struggle with distractions, pulled in different directions by immediate concerns and short-term pleasures. But those with vision know how to prioritize. They are not swayed by the noise around them because they are locked in on their destination. Their vision helps them say no to the good so they can say yes to the great. Furthermore, vision is contagious. It not only inspires the person who has it, but also influences those around them. When you live with vision, you become a beacon of inspiration, drawing others to your cause, attracting resources, and aligning circumstances that help bring your vision to life. The 2% understand that their vision is not just for themselves, but for others as well. It is something that will impact generations, leaving a legacy that outlives them. Without vision, people perish not necessarily in a physical sense, but in the sense of potential, dreams, and purpose. The 98% often perish in mediocrity because they lack a compelling vision to guide them. But the 2%, with their vision burning bright, rise above the limitations of their environment. They defy the odds, break through barriers, and reach heights that others only dream of. To succeed, you must cultivate a vision that is larger than your present. A vision that challenges you, stretches you, and forces you to grow. It must be so compelling that it wakes you up in the morning and keeps you up at night. A true vision will not let you rest until it becomes a reality. And once you have that vision, you must nurture it, protect it, and pursue it with all your heart. Because in the end, it is vision that separates the 2% who succeed from the 98% who don't. Discipline and consistency are the twin pillars that hold up the house of success. While many people dream of achieving greatness, only a few are willing to pay the price of daily commitment and hard work. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It's the internal strength to push through discomfort, fatigue, and distractions because you are focused on a higher goal. The 2% who succeed understand that success is not a one-time event, it is the result of consistent effort over time. Consistency is what turns small actions into big results. Many start the journey toward their dreams with excitement and energy, but that enthusiasm often fades when challenges arise or progress seems slow. The 98% give up when the initial thrill wears off, when they no longer feel motivated. But the 2% have learned the power of consistency. They understand that success is not about grand, momentary achievements, but about showing up every single day, putting in the work, and moving forward, even if the progress is small. Discipline means making sacrifices. It means doing what others won't do in the short term so that you can enjoy what others won't have in the long term. It's about delaying gratification, choosing the hard work today in exchange for the rewards tomorrow. The 98% are often ruled by their emotions, their cravings for comfort, entertainment, and immediate pleasure. But the 2% have mastered themselves. They are not controlled by how they feel in the moment. They are guided by their commitment to their vision. When discipline and consistency are combined, they create momentum. Every day you show up and put in the effort, even when it seems like nothing is happening, you are building momentum. Success is rarely a straight path. It often involves setbacks, delays, and obstacles. But consistency allows you to keep moving forward no matter what. Over time, the small daily actions compound, leading to exponential growth and breakthroughs that others only witness in the final stages. The 98% see the success of the 2% and think it happened overnight, but they don't see the years of disciplined, consistent effort that went into it. Discipline also breeds habits, and it is your habits that ultimately determine your future. Successful people don't rely on motivation, which is fleeting and unpredictable. Instead, they develop habits that ensure they are taking the right actions day in and day out. The 2% have mastered the art of turning discipline into habit. Whether it's waking up early, exercising regularly, studying, or honing their skills, they have programmed themselves to do the hard things automatically. In contrast, the 98% rely on motivation to get started, and when that motivation fades, so does their effort. Consistency also creates trust in yourself and trust from others. When you are consistent, people know they can rely on you. Opportunities begin to open up because you've proven that you are dependable, that you will show up and deliver no matter what. More importantly, consistency builds self-trust. Every time you follow through on your commitments, you reinforce the belief in your own ability to achieve your goals. The 98% often doubt themselves because they've broken so many promises to themselves, starting and stopping without ever seeing something through to completion. But the 2% have unwavering confidence because they have consistently shown up for themselves. In the end, it is discipline and consistency that transform ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Talent may give you a head start, but without discipline, it will go to waste. Dreams may ignite your passion, but without consistency, they will never come to fruition. The 2% understand that while others may falter along the way, those who are disciplined and consistent will always cross the finish line. Success is not a matter of luck or chance, it is a matter of principles, and discipline and consistency are two of the most powerful principles that separate those who succeed from those who do not. Fear is one of the greatest barriers to success, and it affects everyone at some point in their journey. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't lies in how they handle fear. The 2% understand that fear is not something to be avoided, it is something to be confronted and overcome. They recognize that fear is often a sign that they are moving in the right direction toward growth, new opportunities, and greater challenges. The 98%, however, let fear dictate their decisions, holding them back from realizing their full potential. Fear is a natural response to uncertainty and the unknown. It's human to feel afraid when facing new or difficult situations, but the key is not allowing that fear to paralyze you. The 2% realize that fear, when left unchecked, creates hesitation, and hesitation breeds inaction. Inaction leads to missed opportunities, and over time, missed opportunities lead to regret. Instead of allowing fear to stop them, the 2% embrace it as part of the process. They understand that fear is not a signal to turn back, it is a challenge to rise up. The 98% often make decisions based on the desire to stay comfortable and safe, avoiding risk and playing it small. They are afraid of failure, afraid of rejection, afraid of what others might think. But the 2% have a different mindset. They know that failure is not fatal, it is feedback. They understand that rejection is not a personal indictment, it's part of the journey. Instead of fearing what could go wrong, they focus on what could go right. They take risks because they know that playing it safe is the greatest risk of all. Overcoming fear requires a shift in perspective. The 2% don't see fear as something negative, they see it as a signal that they are stepping into new territory. Growth happens outside of your comfort zone, and every time you face fear and move through it, you expand your capacity for success. The 98% often stay stuck in their comfort zone, where fear has no room to challenge them, but also where there is no room for growth. The 2% push through the discomfort because they know that what lies on the other side of fear is worth the struggle. Fear has a way of magnifying problems, making obstacles seem bigger than they really are. But the 2% understand that fear is often irrational, a product of the mind's attempt to protect itself from imagined dangers. They've learned to put fear in its proper place, not letting it distort their vision or cloud their judgment. They confront it with logic, preparation, and a clear focus on their goals. When you look fear in the face and take action anyway, you diminish its power. The 2% are not fearless, they are courageous. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to act in spite of it. One of the reasons the 98% struggle to overcome fear is that they wait for it to go away before taking action. They want to feel confident and secure before they make a move. But the 2% know that confidence doesn't come before action, it comes after. They don't wait until they feel ready. They take action while still feeling afraid, and in the process, they build the confidence that others are waiting for. Confidence is a byproduct of experience, and experience only comes when you are willing to step into the unknown despite your fears. The 2% also understand that fear can be a motivator. Instead of letting it hold them back, they use it to propel themselves forward. They let the fear of missing out on their dreams drive them to take risks. They use the fear of regret as a reminder that time is precious, and that playing it safe will never lead to greatness. They have learned to harness fear, transforming it from an obstacle into a powerful tool for growth and progress. In the end, fear is a companion on the journey to success, but it doesn't have to be an enemy. The 2% succeed because they have learned to live with fear, to acknowledge it, but not let it dictate their path. They've made the decision to move forward even when fear whispers that they should turn back. The 98% stop when fear arises, but the 2% press on, knowing that the only way to truly overcome fear is to face it head on. And in doing so, they unlock doors that fear had tried to keep closed. There is a common belief that passion alone will lead you to success, but passion, while powerful, is fleeting. It is driven by emotion, and emotions can change. Purpose, on the other hand, is enduring. It goes deeper than passion because it is rooted in meaning and impact. The 2% understand this distinction, which is why they are driven by purpose, not just passion. Purpose gives their lives direction and substance, guiding them through both the highs and the inevitable lows of their journey. Passion can spark excitement, but it is often based on what feels good in the moment. It can lead people to start projects with great enthusiasm, only to lose interest when the initial excitement fades or when challenges arise. The 98% often fall into this trap, chasing what excites them in the moment without considering whether it aligns with a deeper purpose. When the road becomes difficult, passion alone is not enough to sustain them. But those who are driven by purpose keep going, because their motivation is not tied to how they feel at any given time. Purpose is anchored in a sense of responsibility. The 2% understand that they are not simply working for their own benefit, they are driven by a calling that impacts others. Purpose connects them to a mission larger than themselves, something that compels them to keep moving forward even when the journey becomes tough. This sense of responsibility makes them resilient because they know their success will have a lasting effect on the lives of others. The 98%, on the other hand, often focus solely on personal fulfillment, which can waver when things don't go as planned. Purpose provides clarity and direction, acting as a compass in life. When you are guided by purpose, you know where you are headed and why. You make decisions based on that deeper understanding, and it helps you stay on course even when distractions arise. Our passion, though energizing, can be scattered. It might pull you in many directions without a clear path forward. The 2% remain focused because their purpose aligns their actions with their long-term goals. They don't get swayed by every new opportunity or challenge because they know what truly matters to them. Purpose also gives you the strength to endure hardship. The 2% are not immune to difficulties or setbacks, but their purpose provides a reason to keep going when everything else says to stop. Passion may fizzle out in the face of adversity, but purpose grows stronger. When you are clear on your purpose, you understand that the obstacles you face are part of the journey, and overcoming them is necessary to fulfill your mission. The 98%, lacking a deeper sense of purpose, often quit when they encounter resistance because they don't have a strong enough reason to push through. Moreover, purpose fuels long-term commitment. While passion may lead to bursts of inspiration, purpose sustains you for the long haul. It is what gets you up in the morning when motivation is nowhere to be found. The 2% succeed because they are in it for the long game. They understand that real success takes time, and purpose gives them the patience to stay the course. They don't seek quick wins or instant gratification because they are focused on building something that lasts. A passion, while important, can lead to impatience and frustration when results don't come quickly. Another key difference between purpose and passion is that purpose is rooted in service. The 2% know that their purpose is not just about them, it is about how they can contribute to the world. Purpose is outward focused, whereas passion is often inward focused, centered on personal interests or desires. When you are driven by purpose, you are willing to sacrifice your comfort, your time, and even your preferences because you are committed to making a difference. This mindset is what separates the 2% from the 98%, who may be more concerned with how they feel in the moment than with the legacy they are building. Ultimately, it is purpose that gives life meaning. Passion can make you feel alive for a time, but purpose gives you a reason to live. It is what will keep you moving forward when the passion fades, when challenges seem overwhelming, and when success feels out of reach. The 2% live with a sense of urgency because they know their purpose is calling them to greater things. They don't waste time chasing fleeting passions. They invest their time and energy into fulfilling their purpose, knowing that this is what leads to true, lasting success. Mentorship is one of the most valuable yet often overlooked keys to success. The 2% who succeed understand the importance of learning from those who have gone before them. They recognize that mentorship accelerates growth by providing guidance, wisdom, and experience that cannot be gained through books or theory alone. Mentors offer a roadmap, helping you avoid the common pitfalls and mistakes that many encounter on their journey. The 98% often try to figure things out on their own, believing they must walk their path without guidance, which slows down their progress and leads to unnecessary setbacks. A mentor is not just a teacher, they are someone who has walked the path you aspire to take. They have first-hand experience and instant insight that comes only from having lived through the challenges and triumphs you are likely to face. The 2% seek out mentors because they understand that no matter how talented or driven they are, there are things they don't know. A mentor helps fill in those gaps, offering perspective and advice that can only come from someone who has already succeeded. One of the greatest values of mentorship is the ability to see further and think bigger. A mentor can help you expand your vision, showing you what's possible beyond your current limitations. They provide a broader perspective, often seeing potential in you that you may not even recognize yourself. The 98% often limit themselves to their own experiences and worldview, while the 2% are open to learning from others, which allows them to reach new levels of achievement. Mentors inspire you to stretch beyond what you think is possible, pushing you toward greater goals. Mentorship also offers accountability. The 2% understand that success requires consistent effort, and a mentor helps keep them on track. Having someone who checks in, offers constructive feedback, and holds you accountable is invaluable. Mentors don't just tell you what you want to hear, they challenge you, correct you, and push you to grow. The 98% often lack this level of accountability, relying on self-motivation, which can wane over time. But with a mentor, the 2% have someone who ensures they stay focused and committed to their goals, even when the going gets tough. Beyond guidance, mentors provide access to opportunities. The 2% know that success is not just about what you know, but also who you know. A mentor opens doors that would otherwise remain closed. They introduce you to the right people, connect you to resources, and provide opportunities for growth that you might not find on your own. The 98%, often working in isolation, miss out on these connections, which limits their ability to advance as quickly or effectively. The 2% recognize the power of these networks and use mentorship as a way to gain access to circles of influence that can elevate their success. A mentor also helps you navigate the emotional challenges of the journey. Success is not just a matter of strategy and skill, it requires mental and emotional resilience. The 2% benefit from having a mentor who can offer wisdom during difficult times, helping them manage doubt, fear, and frustration. Mentors offer encouragement when things are tough, providing the emotional support needed to keep going. The 98%, without this guidance, may feel overwhelmed by the challenges they face, but the 2% find strength in the relationship they have with their mentor. Perhaps one of the most important roles of a mentor is offering a mirror to your blind spots. No matter how talented or driven you are, there are things about yourself that you cannot see. A mentor helps you identify areas where you need to improve, where you may be holding yourself back without realizing it. The 98% often struggle with self-awareness, not knowing what is hindering their progress. But the 2% rely on mentors to point out these blind spots. This level of honest, constructive feedback is critical to growth and long-term success. In the end, mentorship is about standing on the shoulders of giants. The 2% know they don't have to reinvent the wheel. They can learn from the successes and failures of those who have gone before them. A mentor shortens the learning curve, providing guidance that saves time, energy, and resources. The 98% often view mentorship as unnecessary or as a sign of weakness, but the 2% embrace it as a vital part of their journey. They understand that mentorship is not just about gaining knowledge, it's about gaining wisdom, experience, and perspective that can make the difference between mediocrity and greatness. Failure is an inevitable part of the journey to success, but what distinguishes the 2% from the 98% is how they respond to it. While failure can break some people, for the 2%, it becomes a stepping stone to greater achievement. Resilience in the face of failure is one of the most critical traits of those who succeed. They don't see failure as the end, but as part of the process, a necessary ingredient in their growth. The 98% often allow failure to define them, interpreting it as a sign that they should quit. But the 2% understand that failure is not a destination, it is a detour that helps them find a better path. Resilience means having the inner strength to rise again after being knocked down. It's the ability to bounce back from setbacks, disappointments, and defeats with even more determination. The 2% recognize that every failure contains a lesson, and those lessons are essential for refining their approach. Instead of being discouraged, they see failure as feedback, an opportunity to adjust and improve. The 98%, on the other hand, often take failure personally, viewing it as evidence of their limitations, and as a result, they give up too soon. Resilience is rooted in perspective. The 2% know that failure is not a reflection of their worth or potential, it is simply an event, not an identity. They separate who they are from the mistakes they've made. This perspective allows them to keep moving forward, knowing that their worth is not diminished by their setbacks. The 98% often internalize failure, letting it impact their self-esteem and erode their confidence. But the 2% see failure as temporary and know that it has no bearing on their ultimate success unless they allow it to stop them. Failure also provides an opportunity for resilience to be tested and strengthened. The 2% understand that resilience is like a muscle that grows with use. Every time they face a challenge and push through it, they become stronger, more capable, and more prepared for the next obstacle. The 98% often avoid challenges because they fear failure, but in doing so, they never build the resilience they need to succeed in the long term. The 2% embrace challenges because they know that each one strengthens their ability to endure and persevere. Resilience is not about avoiding failure, it's about learning how to thrive in spite of it. The 2% are not immune to the pain or disappointment that failure brings, but they refuse to let it paralyze them. They give themselves permission to feel the sting of failure, but they don't stay there. They quickly shift their focus to what can be learned, how they can improve, and what steps they can take next. The 98% often get stuck in the emotional aftermath of failure, allowing it to overshadow their ability to take productive action. Another key aspect of resilience is adaptability. The 2% are flexible in their approach but firm in their goals. When failure happens, they don't abandon their vision, they simply adjust their strategy. They recognize that the path to success is rarely linear, and that setbacks are often a sign that it's time to pivot or try something new. The 98% often see failure as a dead end, interpreting it as a sign that their goal is unattainable. But the 2% are resourceful, finding new ways to move forward even when their original plan doesn't work. Resilience also involves maintaining a long-term perspective. The 2% understand that failure is just a chapter in their story, not the whole book. They are playing the long game, and they know that success often takes years of perseverance. They are not discouraged by temporary setbacks because they have a clear vision of where they are headed. The 98%, however, often focus too much on the immediate outcome, and when things don't go as planned, they lose sight of their bigger purpose. The 2% keep their eyes on the end goal, knowing that failure is just a small part of the overall journey. In the end, resilience in the face of failure is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who give up along the way. The 2% have trained themselves to see failure not as an obstacle but as an opportunity for growth. They understand that every setback is a setup for a comeback, and they are willing to endure the hardships that failure brings because they know it will ultimately lead to their success. While the 98% allow failure to derail their dreams, the 2% use it to fuel their determination, rising again and again until they reach their destination. Mastering time is one of the most critical skills for those who aspire to achieve greatness. The 2% who succeed understand that time is a finite resource, and they approach it with intentionality and discipline. They recognize that time management is not just about scheduling tasks, it's about aligning their actions with their goals and values. In contrast, the 98% often squander time, allowing distractions, procrastination, and indecision to dictate their day. They might feel busy but lack productivity, whereas the 2% focus on making every moment count. The first step in mastering time is setting clear priorities. The 2% know what matters most to them and allocate their time accordingly. They have a vision for their lives and careers which helps them discern what activities are worth their time and what should be eliminated. This prioritization allows them to focus on high-impact activities that drive progress toward their goals. The 98% often find themselves overwhelmed by the noise of daily life, responding to what is urgent rather than what is truly important. By learning to say no to distractions, the 2% free themselves to invest their time in pursuits that align with their purpose. Another critical aspect of mastering time is creating a structured routine. The 2% develop daily habits that support their goals and foster productivity. They understand that success is built on consistency and that small daily actions compound over time. The 98% often lack structure, leading to disorganization and wasted time. The 2% establish routines that include time for planning, execution, reflection, and self-care. By being intentional about their daily schedules, they ensure that they are making progress toward their goals every single day. The 2% also embrace the power of deadlines. They understand that setting clear timelines for their projects and tasks creates a sense of urgency that drives action. Deadlines help combat procrastination, pushing them to complete tasks efficiently rather than waiting until the last minute. The 98% may struggle with procrastination, believing they have more time than they actually do. By imposing self-deadlines and holding themselves accountable, the 2% cultivate a strong sense of discipline and focus that propels them towards success. Time blocking is another effective strategy employed by the 2%. They allocate specific blocks of time for different tasks, minimizing multitasking and maximizing focus. This approach allows them to dedicate undivided attention to their work, resulting in higher quality output and quicker completion times. The 98% often fall into the trap of trying to do too many things at once, which leads to diminished productivity and increased stress. By mastering the art of time blocking, the 2% create an environment that fosters deep work and meaningful progress. In addition to structured routines and time blocking, the 2% prioritize regular reflection and assessment. They take the time to evaluate their progress, identify what is working and what isn't, and make necessary adjustments. This practice of reflection allows them to stay aligned with their goals and make informed decisions about how to allocate their time moving forward. The 98% may go through life reactively without pausing to assess their direction or effectiveness. By regularly evaluating their efforts, the 2% can course correct and continuously improve. Mastering time also involves being proactive rather than reactive. The 2% anticipate challenges and plan accordingly, which helps them avoid unnecessary stress and chaos. They build contingency plans, ensuring they are prepared for setbacks or unexpected obstacles. The 98% often wait for problems to arise before addressing them, leading to a reactive approach that consumes their time and energy. By adopting a proactive mindset, the 2% maintain control over their schedules and can navigate challenges more effectively. Furthermore, the 2% understand the importance of self-care in mastering time. They recognize that a well-rested, healthy mind and body are essential for peak performance. They prioritize activities that rejuvenate them, whether that's exercise, mindfulness, or spending time with loved ones. The 98% may overlook self-care in their quest for productivity, leading to burnout and diminished effectiveness. By investing in themselves, the 2% ensure they have the energy and focus needed to tackle their responsibilities effectively. Ultimately, mastering time is about taking ownership of your life and choices. The 2% approach time with respect and purpose, recognizing that how they spend each moment shapes their future. They are intentional in their actions, consistently aligning their daily tasks with their overarching goals. The 98% often drift through life without direction, allowing time to slip away without making meaningful progress. By mastering time, the 2% carve out a path to success that is defined by intentionality, discipline, and relentless pursuit of their dreams. In conclusion, the stark contrast between the 2% who succeed and the 98% who don't lies in their mindset, choices, and actions. The 2% understand that success is not an accident, it is a deliberate journey paved with purpose, resilience, and commitment. They master the art of time, prioritizing what truly matters, cultivating discipline, and embracing mentorship as a crucial component of their growth. They confront fear head-on, transforming it from an obstacle into a catalyst for progress, while seeing failure not as a defeat, but as a vital learning experience that strengthens their resolve. Ultimately, the road to success is a choice. It's about being intentional with your time, resilient in the face of challenges, and steadfast in your pursuit of purpose. The 2% are willing to put in the work, invest in themselves, and embrace the discomfort that comes with growth. They embody the understanding that true success is not just about reaching a destination, but about the transformation that occurs along the way. As you reflect on these principles, ask yourself, which path will you choose? Will you remain among the 98%, or will you rise to join the ranks of the 2% who not only dream but dare to achieve? The power to transform your life is in your hands. Embrace it and step boldly into your purpose.